What is it like to grow up in a family that is synonymous with power, wealth, and relentless media attention? For Ivanka Trump and Barron Trump, their lives have been anything but ordinary. They've experienced privilege most people can only imagine, but along with that privilege comes enormous pressure. Expectations are sky high, and every move they make is scrutinized. Yet, Ivanka and Barron have handled their circumstances in vastly different ways. Ivanka has embraced the spotlight, shaping a brand and career that has made her one of the most influential women in America. Barron, on the other hand, has remained largely out of the public eye, shielded by his mother, Melania Trump, from the circus of attention that has surrounded their family. But despite these contrasting approaches, both Ivanka and Barron carry the weight of the Trump legacy on their shoulders. In this video, we take you behind the scenes to uncover the hidden layers of Ivanka and Barron Trump's lives. We'll explore their childhoods, career trajectories, family dynamics, and what the future may hold for these two children of America's most polarizing president. This is the story of fame, fortune, family, and the price that comes with being a Trump. Ivanka Trump, born on October 30, 1981, entered a world of immense privilege from the moment she took her first breath. As the daughter of real estate magnate Donald Trump and former Czech model Ivana Trump, Ivanka's upbringing was a whirlwind of elite boarding schools, luxury vacations, and exposure to high society. From a young age, she was groomed for success, both by her mother's European sophistication and her father's relentless ambition. But the Trump family's lavish lifestyle came with challenges, most notably the public unraveling of her parents' marriage. The divorce of Donald and Ivana Trump in 1992 was a tabloid sensation, and Ivanka was thrust into the spotlight as a teenager trying to navigate her parents' very public split. She has spoken candidly about how difficult the divorce was, describing it as a formative experience that shaped her views on resilience and family loyalty. At just 11 years old, Ivanka was already learning to cope with the pressures of a high-profile family life. She once described how her mother, Ivana, instilled in her the importance of being independent and self-reliant. It was a lesson that would stay with her as she grew into a young woman with ambitions far beyond just being Donald Trump's daughter. Ivanka's educational journey was typical for children of the ultra-wealthy. She attended the prestigious Chapin School in Manhattan before transferring to Choate Rosemary Hall, a top boarding school in Connecticut. It was during her time at Choate that Ivanka began to display the discipline and work ethic that would later define her career. Friends from those years describe her as a serious student, someone who was focused on her future and always poised in social situations. Following high school, Ivanka attended Georgetown University for 2 years before transferring to the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School, one of the top business schools in the world. Graduating summa cum laude with a degree in economics, Ivanka's education prepared her well for the next chapter in her life, entering the business world. In the early 2000s, Ivanka briefly flirted with a modeling career. Standing at nearly 6 feet tall with her mother's striking good looks, Ivanka was a natural fit for the fashion world. She appeared in magazines and walked the runway for top designers, but it was clear from the start that Ivanka had ambitions beyond modeling. Her true passion was business, and after a short stint in the fashion industry, Ivanka joined the Trump Organization in 2005. At the Trump Organization, Ivanka quickly made her mark. She worked on high-profile real estate projects and helped expand the family's business empire. As one of Donald Trump's most trusted advisors, Ivanka played a key role in managing some of the company's largest development deals. Her sharp business acumen earned her respect in a male-dominated industry, but it wasn't just her work in real estate that made her stand out. In addition to her role at the Trump Organization, Ivanka was determined to create her own identity, separate from her father's towering persona. In 2007, she launched the Ivanka Trump Collection, a jewelry line that quickly expanded to include clothing, shoes, and accessories. Her brand was targeted at professional women, and Ivanka often spoke about empowering women to succeed in both their personal and professional lives. Her book, The Trump Card, Playing to Win in Work and Life, published in 2009, further cemented her position as a role model for ambitious young women. Ivanka's image as a stylish, successful businesswoman resonated with many, and she became a popular figure in media, often appearing on talk shows and magazine covers. She seemed to embody the ideal of the modern woman, a wife, a mother, and a successful entrepreneur. However, Ivanka's brand wasn't without its controversies. Critics accused her of benefiting from her family name, and her products, which were often manufactured overseas, were seen as hypocritical given her father's America First rhetoric. Still, Ivanka's entrepreneurial ventures continued to thrive, and by the time her father launched his presidential campaign in 2015, she was already a powerful figure in her own right. Ivanka's transition from businesswoman to political figure was swift. As her father's campaign for president gained momentum, Ivanka emerged as one of his most effective surrogates. Her calm, polished demeanor was a stark contrast to Donald Trump's often abrasive style, and she was able to connect with voters, particularly women, who were put off by her father's rhetoric. Her speeches at the 2016 Republican National Convention and other campaign events were widely praised for their poise and professionalism. Ivanka presented herself as the more moderate, compassionate face of the Trump campaign, advocating for issues like paid family leave and equal pay for women. For many, Ivanka was the bridge between her father and more centrist voters. When Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, Ivanka took on an even larger role. She became a senior advisor to the president, an unprecedented position for a first daughter. Her husband, Jared Kushner, was also named a senior advisor, and together, the couple became two of the most powerful figures in Washington, D.C. During her time in the White House, Ivanka focused on issues related to economic empowerment, education, and women's rights. She played a key role in crafting policies related to workforce development and childcare, and her influence on her father's administration was undeniable. However, Ivanka's role in politics was not without controversy. Critics argued that she and her husband had conflicts of interest and were unqualified for their positions. Despite the criticism, Ivanka remained a central figure in the Trump administration until the very end. When Donald Trump's presidency came to an end in January 2021, Ivanka and her family moved to Florida, where they have kept a relatively low profile. Ivanka has largely stepped back from the political spotlight, focusing on her family and business ventures. She and Jared Kushner purchased a property in the exclusive community of Indian Creek Island, often referred to as Billionaire's Bunker, and have been raising their 3 children, Arabella, Joseph, and Theodore, away from the media frenzy of Washington, D.C. Despite her retreat from public life, there is constant speculation about whether Ivanka will re-enter the political arena. Some see her as a future candidate for office, perhaps even a presidential contender, while others believe she will focus on rebuilding her business empire and avoiding the political fray. Regardless of what path Ivanka chooses, her influence and the legacy she has built will continue to shape the Trump family's role in American public life. In contrast to Ivanka, Barron Trump's life has been shrouded in mystery. Born on March 20, 2006, Barron is the only child of Donald Trump and Melania Trump. From the moment he was born, Barron was destined to live a life unlike most children. With a father who was a billionaire businessman and a mother who was a former supermodel, Barron's early years were spent in the penthouses of Manhattan and the sprawling estates of Mar-a-Lago. However, Barron's upbringing was markedly different from that of his older siblings. While Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric Trump were often in the public eye from a young age, Barron has been shielded from media scrutiny for most of his life. Melania, in particular, has been fiercely protective of her son's privacy, going to great lengths to keep him out of the spotlight. Barron spent much of his childhood in Trump Tower, the family's opulent residence in the heart of Manhattan. Living in the penthouse of one of the most iconic buildings in New York City, Barron had access to the kind of luxuries most children could only dream of. His mother, Melania, has spoken about how she was very hands-on in raising Barron, describing herself as a full-time mom. She was involved in every aspect of his life, from his education to his daily routine. One of the unique aspects of Barron's childhood was his multicultural upbringing. Melania, who was born in Slovenia, made sure that Barron was fluent in both English and Slovenian. She has also spoken about how she instilled in him an appreciation for his heritage and the importance of family values. Despite living in the lap of luxury, Barron's life was relatively private during his early years. Unlike many children of celebrities or wealthy families, Barron was rarely photographed in public, and his parents made a concerted effort to keep him away from the media glare. This privacy allowed Barron to have a relatively normal childhood, despite the immense wealth and fame surrounding his family. Barron's life changed dramatically in 2016 when his father won the presidency. At just 10 years old, Barron became the youngest child to live in the White House since John F. Kennedy Jr. The transition from Trump Tower to the White House was undoubtedly a significant adjustment for Barron, who was suddenly living under the constant gaze of the public and the media. During his time in the White House, Barron was largely kept out of the spotlight. Melania made it clear from the beginning that she wanted her son to have as normal a childhood as possible, despite the unique circumstances of living in the White House. Barron attended St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Potomac, Maryland, a private school known for its rigorous academics and small class sizes. By all accounts, Barron was a quiet, studious child who preferred to stay out of the limelight. However, being the child of a sitting president comes with its own set of challenges. Barron was often the subject of online bullying and cruel jokes, something Melania addressed publicly as part of her Be Best campaign, which aimed to combat cyberbullying and promote children's well-being. Despite the pressures of growing up in the White House, Barron remained largely unscathed by the intense scrutiny that followed his family. He made few public appearances during his father's presidency, and when he did, he often appeared shy and reserved, standing at a towering height beside his parents. Following Donald Trump's departure from the White House in January 2021, Barron and his family moved to Florida, where they have been living at Mar-a-Lago. Now 18 years old, Barron is at a pivotal point in his life. As he approaches adulthood, the world is watching to see what path he will choose. Barron's future remains a mystery. Will he follow in the footsteps of his older siblings and pursue a career in business, or will he take a different route entirely? Some speculate that Barron may stay out of the public eye, given his preference for privacy during his father's presidency. Others believe that, as he matures, Barron may decide to step into the spotlight and take on a more prominent role in the Trump family legacy. What is clear is that Barron's upbringing has been anything but ordinary, and the choices he makes in the coming years will shape his future and the Trump dynasty. Being born into a family synonymous with wealth and power can feel like a golden ticket, but for Ivanka and Barron Trump, this privilege also comes with enormous pressure. From early childhood, their lives have been inextricably tied to the Trump brand, a name that evokes strong reactions across the world, ranging from admiration to outright disdain. For Ivanka, the challenge has been navigating the expectations of being a capable businesswoman and an influential public figure, while for Barron, it has been finding his own identity in the shadow of a father whose persona dominates every aspect of public life. The Trump family name is inescapable, a fact that shapes every opportunity and every challenge they face. Wealth has given them access to the world's most exclusive circles, but it has also made them targets for criticism and controversy. Ivanka and Barron have both had to contend with the relentless pressure of living in a world where every move is scrutinized and every decision dissected by both supporters and detractors. While Ivanka has embraced the public persona and used her platform to build her own brand and influence, Barron has taken a more guarded approach. The difference in how they've navigated the spotlight speaks to their distinct personalities, but it also reflects the roles they play within the Trump family. In this chapter, we explore how the pressures of fame and fortune have shaped their lives, and how they've adapted to the weight of being part of one of the most famous and polarizing families in the world. For Ivanka Trump, fame was always a part of the equation. As the daughter of a man who craved the limelight, Ivanka had little choice but to adapt to life in the public eye. However, she didn't merely coast on her father's coattails, she carved out a space for herself. Ivanka understood that in order to thrive under the Trump name, she had to strike a delicate balance between her personal ambitions and the obligations that came with being a member of the Trump dynasty. One of the greatest challenges Ivanka has faced throughout her life is managing the tension between her career and her family responsibilities. In many ways, Ivanka has had to juggle multiple identities. She's been the dutiful daughter, the polished businesswoman, and the mother of 3 young children, all while trying to maintain an image of composure and control. Her ability to move seamlessly between these roles has earned her respect in some circles, but it has also drawn criticism from others who question the authenticity of her carefully curated public persona. Ivanka's life changed dramatically when she became a senior advisor in her father's administration. The move marked a significant shift from the business world to the political arena, and it was a decision that would come to define much of her legacy. Although she had long been involved in her father's business ventures, working alongside him in the White House placed her in an entirely new realm of influence. Ivanka's focus on women's economic empowerment and workforce development made her a key player in her father's administration, but her position also subjected her to a new level of scrutiny. Throughout her time in the White House, Ivanka was often caught between two worlds: the polished, business-savvy woman she had cultivated before her father's presidency, and the political figure who was now playing a pivotal role in shaping national policy. Critics accused her of being complicit in her father's more controversial decisions, while others admired her for standing by him and advocating for issues that aligned with her personal values. This duality, of being both Donald Trump's daughter and a figure in her own right, has shaped Ivanka's public image in ways that will likely endure long after her father's political career ends. Ivanka's post-White House life has been quieter, but her influence remains undeniable. Though she has stepped back from the public spotlight, her name continues to surface in discussions about the future of the Trump dynasty. Will she return to politics, or will she focus on her family and business ventures? For now, Ivanka seems content with taking a step back, but the question remains, is this a temporary hiatus, or has she closed the door on public life for good? Barron Trump's experience has been drastically different from Ivanka's. Unlike his older siblings, Barron has spent much of his life in the background, carefully shielded from the public eye by his mother, Melania Trump. While Ivanka embraced the limelight from a young age, Barron has been far more reserved, and the world knows little about his personality, interests, or ambitions. Growing up as the youngest child of a president and a supermodel, Barron's life has always been steeped in privilege. But unlike his older siblings, who had their formative years during Donald Trump's business empire building, Barron's most pivotal years took place under the national spotlight of his father's presidency. The Trump presidency began when Barron was only 10 years old, and for much of his teenage life, he has lived behind the security fences of the White House and later, Mar-a-Lago. In these formative years, Barron's experience has been vastly different from that of his siblings who grew up in the business world rather than the political sphere. Barron's public appearances have been rare, and when they do occur, they are usually brief and carefully managed. His towering height and quiet demeanor have made him a subject of curiosity, but the Trump family has remained adamant about protecting his privacy. While Barron has been largely shielded from the media frenzy that has surrounded his father, his name occasionally pops up in online discussions and social media debates, particularly during times of political upheaval. The question that looms over Barron's future is whether he will eventually embrace the public role that his older siblings have taken on. As the youngest Trump, he has had more time to observe the impacts of fame on his family, and it's possible that he may choose a different path altogether. Will Barron become involved in the Trump family business or enter politics like his father? Or will he decide to stay out of the spotlight and live a life away from the media circus that has followed his family for decades? Barron's life is still largely a mystery, and in many ways, that's how his parents want it to be. Melania Trump has always been fiercely protective of her son, and it's clear that she wants to ensure Barron has as normal a life as possible, given the extraordinary circumstances. Whether Barron will eventually step into the public sphere or remain a private figure is a question only time can answer. As the Trump family navigates the complexities of fame, fortune, and politics, the question remains, what does the future hold for Ivanka, Barron, and the rest of the Trump dynasty? Ivanka has already made a name for herself as a powerful figure in both the business and political worlds. She has the potential to continue expanding her influence, whether by re-entering the political arena or by further growing her business ventures. The future of the Trump legacy may well depend on whether Ivanka chooses to once again play an active role in public life. Many speculate that she could be a future presidential contender, while others believe she may pivot back to the private sector and focus on building her brand. For Barron, the future is less certain. At just 18 years old, he has his entire life ahead of him, and his decisions in the coming years will determine what role, if any, he will play in the Trump family empire. Barron may decide to embrace the family name and all that comes with it, or he may choose to forge his own path, away from the expectations and pressures of the Trump brand. The Trump family is not just a political dynasty, it is a cultural phenomenon. From reality television to the White House, the Trumps have been a part of the American consciousness for decades. But as the family faces new challenges in a post-presidency world, the question remains, how will the Trump legacy evolve in the years to come? The answer to that question lies, in part, with Ivanka and Barron Trump. Will they carry forward their father's legacy, or will they chart a new course for themselves and their family? One thing is certain, the world will be watching. Ivanka and Barron Trump are two very different individuals, yet their lives are deeply intertwined by the legacy of their family. Ivanka has thrived in the public eye, using her platform to build her career and expand her influence. Barron, on the other hand, has remained more private, quietly growing up under the watchful protection of his mother. Both have faced the challenges that come with being part of the Trump family, and both will have to navigate the future with the weight of that legacy on their shoulders. As the Trump family moves forward, the choices Ivanka and Barron make will shape the future of one of the most recognizable families in the world. Whether they embrace the fame and fortune that comes with the Trump name or seek to carve out a different path, one thing is clear, the story of Ivanka and Barron Trump is far from over. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment below to let us know your thoughts. Your support means the world to us.